Under a nose-blistering California sun, Candlestick Park was the battleground for one of pro football's fiercest rivalries, that of the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams have won 5 straight in the series, but none have come under new head coach Chuck Knox, who in his first season has built the Rams into the NFL's most surprising team with 2 straight convincing victories. Knox's team is strong both offensively and defensively. On opening day, the Rams racked up 23 points over the tough Kansas City Chiefs, and last week, his defense, led by a rejuvenated Merlin Olsen, shut out the Atlanta Falcons, and all they had done was score 62 points the previous week. On offense, Knox has former Charger John Hadl at quarterback, and Hadl leads the NFL in passing thus far this season, having completed an astounding 80% of his passes. The 49ers have a star pitcher in John Brody, and with receivers like Ted Kwolek and Gene Washington, San Francisco is primarily a passing team, yet all of their touchdowns this season have been via the run. The game is do or die for Dick Nolan's 49ers, for if they lose, they will fall 2 full games behind the Rams in the NFC West Division. So it's a critical game between 2 of the NFL's bitterest rivals, the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams, in the NFL Game of the Week. Los Angeles began the game by employing the relentless ground attack that has been so effective for them in the season's first 2 games. An indication of their success running is that 2 of the top 5 ground gainers in the National Conference are Rams. Number 45, Jim Bertelsen, ranks 3rd, and Larry McCutcheon, number 30, is 5th, merely 10 yards behind. It was this pair of fine runners who moved Los Angeles steadily downfield against the 49er defense. Then quarterback John Hadl mixed in the short passing game with tosses to Harold Jackson and tight end Bob Klein. Hadl has completed 80% of his passes this year and ranks 1st in the NFC. Setback Larry Smith entered the game and got into the act by tossing on the option play to Pat Curran, number 88. But here, the Ram march stalled, and David Ray from the 16-yard line kicked the ball through the uprights for the first score of this ball game. Los Angeles 3, San Francisco nothing. Regarded as primarily a passing team, San Francisco opened up on the ground. Larry Schreiber powered up the center for 11 yards. Then old pro John Brody turned to his patented short game. First, a quick out to John Eisenbarger, then a slant pass good for 18 yards to the 4th-year veteran from Indiana, who has won for the first time a starting job. Eisenbarger beat out the injured Terry Beasley at the wide receiver spot opposite Gene Washington. Now Brody went to Schreiber in the right flat. However, safety Dave Elmendorf, number 42, came up fast to make the tackle and hand the 49ers a loss that forced them to punt. It was Tom Whittam's punt that proved to be the 49ers' longest offensive play when Jim Bertelsen fumbled. San Francisco had a huge break on the Ram 36, and it took Brody 1 play to exploit it. Gene Washington took it to the 1. A repeat of the big play shows a fine play fake and that Gene Washington had badly beaten Steve Priest before making a nice grab of the football. From the 1-yard line, Vic Washington plunged over right tackle, and San Francisco had come right back at Los Angeles and now led 7-3. It would last for exactly one play. Cullen Bryant's 93-yard kickoff return had given Los Angeles the lead again. Cullen Bryant was the Rams' #1 pick in the draft. The defensive back from Colorado is making the choice a highly successful one with his sparkling play so far this young season. Besides the speed needed to play the secondary in the NFL, Bryant has good size and uses it, as a repeat of his long return demonstrates. Los Angeles 10, San Francisco 7, as the first quarter came to an end. Leading by 3, the Rams kicked off, and despite the formation of a solid wedge of blockers, linebacker Jim Youngblood pierced it and nailed Vic Washington with a fine tackle. Washington got the call 2 successive times, showing fine extra effort on the first after a pass in the left flat. On the second, the little setback showed his fine speed as he skirted right end for 20 yards before Cullen Bryant got to him. John Brody hit the 49ers' newest acquisition, Danny Abramowitz, over the middle for 29 yards. It kept alive the little receiver's streak of catching a pass in every pro game in which he has appeared. On first down, Brody went for Vic Washington, but the larger man, Cullen Bryant, won the battle. Then Brody floated a flat pass to Jim Thomas, who lost it in the sun. San Francisco had come up short after a sustained drive, so Bruce Gossett kicked from 35 yards out and evened the score at 10 apiece. On the next series, John Hadle mixed his plays beautifully. Faking nicely, he first looped a pass to Larry McCutcheon for 21 yards. McCutcheon has been almost as effective catching the ball as running it. He's the Rams' leading receiver. Then Hadle, with plenty of time to look, speared Jack Snow with a strike over the middle for an additional 17 yards. Catching San Francisco back on its heels, Hadle handed to Larry Smith, who squeezed through left tackle for 14 yards and a third straight first down. A repeat of Smith's run shows Larry McCutcheon's fine block made the play go. Los Angeles now had the ball on the San Francisco 11. McCutcheon got the call again and powered in for the score that put Los Angeles in the lead once more. So far in this game, every single offensive series had ended in a score. It was fitting that number 71, Joe Schabelli, was the first with congratulations, for a repeat of the touchdown shows McCutcheon didn't do it alone. The Ram front line cleared out their opponents, something they had been doing consistently all afternoon. The next time they had the ball, McCutcheon continued to run unchecked. But on the next play, Harold Jackson took a pitch out and attempted a pass on a play more reminiscent of the Tommy Prothro era in Los Angeles than the present Knox regime. Going back to basics, Tony Baker, obtained from the Eagles in the Harold Jackson trade, fought hard for 10 yards and a first down up the middle. Then from the 39, John Hadle hit a streaking Harold Jackson, and Los Angeles had its second touchdown within 4 minutes. Hadle, the leading passer in the NFC, had broken this game open, and a repeat shows how. All the essential ingredients for the long pass were there as the Ram line gave its quarterback time to throw and Jackson time to outspeed his defender for the deep six. Now down by 14 points, John Brody on his next series put the ball in the air and paid for it dearly. Rookie cornerback Eddie McMillan intercepted. Here, San Francisco got tough. Watch number 32, Mel Phillips, take the block, yet still make the tackle. On third down, Frank Nunley stopped Bertelson, and Brody had another chance, but the results were the same as the Los Angeles secondary covered beautifully. Charlie Stukes' interception put the ball on the San Francisco 34, and Larry McCutcheon brought it 13 yards closer to the 49er goal. But here the 49er defense held its ground and stopped Hadle and the Rams on two fine plays by cornerback Windland Hall, number 43. Hall, a second-year man from Arizona State, had single-handedly forced Los Angeles to settle for 3, which they got when David Ray split the posts from the 19. The half was over, and the Rams led their arch rivals 27-10. Having been stung for 17 points in the last 12 minutes of the first half, the 49ers emerged from the locker room knowing full well that they would have to slow the Ram roller coaster. And by going to a ball control game, as opposed to a panic passing game, they began to move. Brody mixed his plays well on the drive. After hitting Dan Abramowitz on a short, safe pass, he handed to Larry Schreiber, who ripped off 13 more yards. On a repeat, watch right guard Woody Peoples, number 69. His good block on Merlin Olsen gave Schreiber an alley to cut back into for good yardage. Brody then went back to the short, safe stuff to keep the 49ers moving. Ted Kwolek's catch moved San Francisco inside Ram territory, and from safer field position, Brody began to open up. After a 17-yard hookup with Gene Washington, he sent Schreiber on a swing for 12 more. Schreiber carried to the Rams 16, but there the Rams stiffened. Unable to run, Brody tried a third down pass for the touch, but Charlie Stukes was all over Abramowitz. San Francisco would have to settle for the field goal as Bruce Gossett towed a 24-yarder. Though their drive had gotten only 3 points, the 49ers score brought them to within 2 touchdowns at 27-13 with over 23 minutes still left in the game. But the Rams then blunted the minor 49er uprising when they ate up the rest of the third quarter. Bertelsen set up a 3rd and 1, and with the 49ers bunched to stop the run, Tony Baker ran over Mike Simpson for the first down. Then Hadel hit McCutcheon on a swing for more good yardage. Dave Wilcox's tackle saved a long gainer, but 3 plays later, the aggressive Wilcox jumped offside, and it cost the 49ers dearly. Frank Nunley's interception was wiped out, and instead of 49er ball on the Ram 40, it was Rams ball on the 49er 37. From there, Hadel went back to the run. Bertelsen shrugged off a tackler and got 9 yards. With 3 running plays, gained just 1 additional yard. So in the second play of the fourth quarter, David Ray booted his 3rd field goal. The Rams led again by 17, but more importantly, they had eroded over 9 minutes off the clock on their drive. Brody was now forced to pass, but he was betrayed. First, Fred Dreyer got enough penetration on his blocker to swat away Brody's pass. On second down, Abramowitz, normally as sure-handed as they come, dropped a catchable pass. Finally, on third down, Vic Washington, not normally considered sure-handed, showed why. For Nolan's Niners, time was running out. On the Rams' next possession, they added a field goal to lead 33-13. But one facet of this fierce rivalry is that neither team ever gives up. And on the kickoff, San Francisco clawed back as though the game hinged on their next drive. On first down, Brody crossed up the Rams and Schreiber popped through for 8. But Brody should have stayed on the ground, for the Ram defense intercepted his next pass and completed their 3rd straight outstanding game on defense. This renewed aggressiveness on defense has helped turn the Ram fortunes around this season. With good field position, the Ram offense went for more, but the 49er defense finally got tough. But with 3rd and long, the Ram offensive line sprung Baker again. Baker's 17-yard run carried to the 1-yard line, and he finished the drive from there. The Rams led 40-13. For their last drive of the game, Nolan yanked Brody, who had had 3 passes intercepted, and went with last season's super second stringer, Steve Spurrier. On the kickoff, Doug Cunningham got him good field position with a 35-yard return. Against a prevent defense, Spurrier took what the Rams gave him and began to move the 49ers. A hook pattern to John Eisenbarger got 12, and Qualick got 20 more over the middle. Then another circle route by Willard in San Francisco was on the Los Angeles 20. From there, Spurrier spotted Qualick again, and his perfect pass got the touchdown. Qualick's score merely brought him personal satisfaction, for the 49ers were still hopelessly behind, 40-20. All that remained was for the Rams to run out the clock, and as they had done all day, they ran at will and killed the last remaining seconds. The Rams' smashing 40-20 victory over the 49ers was further proof of their metamorphosis this season. They have now established themselves as the team to beat in the NFC West, and beating them won't be easy for any team. If San Francisco hopes to gain their 4th straight division title, they will have to beat the Rams in their next meeting, something they have not been able to do in 6 straight games. Chuck Knox has turned the Rams into one of the NFL's strongest teams, one of only 4 teams that are still undefeated this season. The Los Angeles Rams, the NFL's surprisingest team, surprisingly strong. There should be fewer and fewer people surprised as the season progresses, for the Rams are winners again.